Hello. Good evening, roommates. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in, come on in. Hello. Hey, roommates. Hi there. Hey, Garrow Hicks. Hey, Brown Fox. Welcome. Love you all. I don't know why Instagram don't want to act right on my computer. Hello. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, y'all. I may need some help with Instagram. Let's see. Let's reload this page. Come on in. Come on in. Say hello to your roommates as you're coming in. Hey, y'all. It has been a long week, and it's only Tuesday, okay? Yes, yes, yes. Come on in. All right. We have some good stuff in store, per usual. And I am hey, beautiful, super excited to be here with you all. Hey, Disby. Hey, thank you for popping in. I see you pop in from time to time. So, roommates, we have made it. I done got my stuff together, so I think we're good to go. We have made it to episode 5 of season 2. So we are just trucking right on along. So just super excited about that. Say hello to your roommates as you're coming in. Hey, y'all. I see y'all. I see the hearts. I see the hugs. I'm thankful. Thank you so much. Tonight, roommates, we are going to talk about delay, right? Delay not being equivalent to a denial. And I know there are so many of us that are working towards our dreams, working towards our goals. Hey, Sean, missed you. Working towards all of these things that our heart desires, right? And sometimes it seems like we just don't know if it's going to happen, and we certainly don't know when it's going to happen. So I'm just here tonight to encourage you guys. Hey, Tequila, I'm glad I see you on, because you earlier, your post just really resonated with me. So before we jump into tonight's topic of discussion, I want to really take just a moment to give a moment of silence and reverence and respect to so many of our family members and friends and our low-end family who are experiencing so much right now as it relates to grief, as it relates to loss, as it relates to those feelings of defeat. So I mentioned Tequila because earlier I saw her post, and she just talked about really feeling sad and not being able to mask that sadness. And I want to just give a moment of silence to those of us who are going through. And each of us are fighting our own silent battles. And then you add to that the grief and the loss of loved ones and people that we care about, and it just becomes so overwhelming. So I am going to hush my mouth. If you guys can drop some prayer hands, and let's just give a moment of silence to those of us who are battling our silent battles alone. And with that, I am going to top that with a God, keep us covered. God, keep us near and drawn to you as we are going through this life. In Jesus' name. So let's jump on in, roommates, okay? I hear from you all so much. And I hear from you guys sometimes as you're reaching out. But then I also hear from you guys just through your posts, through some of the personal things I may know about you. And then I just sometimes decide to speak on things that is heavy on my heart. And I know that I can give examples of, just trying to be better, even when you just don't know where your next burst of energy or your next burst of confidence is going to come from as we are fighting through what is happening, right? So we live in this like instant gratification era right now, which it seems like everything is just like microwave quick, right? We can get everything that we want at the push of a button. For those of us that were born in the 70s and even before that, and we lived through the 80s and the 90s in that pre-internet phase, right? We just didn't have the luxury of so many things that we have the luxury of. Everything we want, we can get it quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? And I am just here to tell you that though we can and we have been spoiled, if you will, with really trying to just garner everything that we want so quick, fast, and in a hurry that we lose patience with those things that still takes time, those things that have not yet been granted to us, those things that are the wheels of our lives, and it just takes a little while longer, right? And we have no control over the things. So I'm here to just tell you, don't fret, don't beat yourself up, and we're going to just process some of these things, and I really, really, really want to hear from you guys, okay? So with that being said, I want to remind you, roommates, that no does not mean never, and delay is not a denial. For Philippians 1:6 reminds us that he who began a work in you is faithful to complete it. You are not alone. When you feel that fire, when you feel that desire, when you feel that urge to do the things that your heart desire, you don't know how you're going to do it. You don't know how you're going to achieve it. You just know that these are dreams and passions and desires of yours. And it's not just about professional, right? I'm gonna delve into quite a few things tonight. So I just want you guys to know that it is of utter importance that we stay reminded of who we are and whose we are. And just don't go comparing yourselves to anyone, right? Because comparison is the enemy and the thief of joy. It doesn't matter how easy it seems like someone has it. You don't know what their journey has been to get there, and you don't know what their struggles are to remain there. So we live in this era of, social media. I love social media, right? It gives me the lengths to reach across the world, to reach people, to communicate with people, to talk to people that I don't get a chance to see every day, right? And I hear people say often like, oh, the social media is the this and the that. I think that it is one of the greatest tools that could have happened to us, but many of us find ways to abuse it as we would do any other things, right? So in talking about delay not being a denial, I want to talk about some areas of development that you and I may need to possess before we are able to move forward with attaining those things that we really want, right? So drop in the comment section, what are some areas of development that we may need in our time of delay? What are some areas that we may really need to develop in when it is that delay, like when things seem stagnant for us, and we're so excited about our lives and our future and those things that we want, but it just seemed like we can't put our fingers on the pulse and we can't make it happen so quick and fast like we would want it to. What are some of those things we may need to develop, right, to attain those things that we really want, that seems like it's not going to happen for us? It seems like we're being denied it, right? But it's really just a delay. But in that delay period, we need to be developing. Hey, Danny, good to see you, my love. So I'm going to list out a few things, and then you guys can throw out some things. Hey, sister, you guys can throw out some things that you may think, what are some areas? Hey, Mickey, I'm talking to me. What are some areas you need to develop in to be able to attain all of these things that you really want to do? Okay? Patience. We have to be patient with the process. Rome was not built overnight, and we are certainly not going to tear it down anytime soon, right? What about empathy? Being empathetic, learning to be empathetic with people, with their situations, and not be so hard on ourselves or other people. I seen a post earlier from my cousin Black, and y'all can tag him and tell him to come over here because I'm talking about him. But I seen a post from him earlier saying, you know, in other words, I don't have the exact quote, but he just said, don't be so hard on your friends that kind of leave or go ghost, because sometimes they don't know how to show up for you. And this is not just about our friends. This is not just about our families. I'm gonna swap out friends and family for don't be so hard on ourselves, because oftentimes it's difficult to show up for ourselves in a capacity that we've never served in. If you've never served as a business owner and you are stepping out for the first time in your life or in your career to do something that is new, something that you've never done before, be empathetic and be compassionate towards yourself. Right? And even if it's not you, what if it's your mate? What if it's your children? Don't be so quick to give up on them or yourself in those moments of delay. Right? Because it doesn't happen today. It doesn't mean that it will not and shall not happen tomorrow. Right? Trust the process. And we also, and I'm reading from my sister Bernice Lee, that said we have to let go of people, places, and things. We talk about that so much, right? Letting go of people, places, and things. And I agree with that. But we have to be reminded that we need people to be okay and to thrive, right? When God made Adam, and Adam was so lonely in the Garden of Eden, and God sensed it. He knew it. He knew that he was down. He knew that he was missing something. And so then that's when he put him to sleep. And this is for those of us who read and believe the Bible. And he put him to sleep. And then he bore Eve from his rib cage, right? To bring him companionship. And to bring him someone that can be to be that help when you are when you're just really trying to thrive in this life. So I want us to remember that we need to be empathetic towards ourselves and towards the people that are around. Don't be so critical. Don't be critical of the process. Actually, we should be embracing the process and learning as much from the process that we possibly can. Sometimes it's difficult for people to show up for you. That's true. But let's take a spin on it, right? Because romance, you know, when I sit here with you all, when I say us and we, I'm included in that. And when I'm giving you all good pep talks, I'm trying to take my own advice, right? I don't want to be that hypocritical person that feels like, oh, I have all the answers and my answers are for you and it doesn't serve me any purpose. I sit here today as a servant of God, one, the teacher of the word and the studying that I do, but also as a student. Because none of us are above learning, right? So we have to be very mindful of those things that we may need to develop in as we are in delay mode, right? What about developing our understanding? Learning to be more understanding of oneself, giving ourselves grace, right? Some of those things really kind of mean the same, in contextually, depending on what we're speaking about. But one of the biggest things that I think any of us can learn as we are developing in this space of being patient, in this space of growing, in this space of learning that though I am delayed, I am not denied, is that pride. We have to take pride, ball it up like a piece of paper, and we got to throw it out the window. We must humble ourselves in the sight of other people as well as in the sight of God, because we are students until the day that we leave here. And for those of us who believe that we are above being taught something, you are just you are delaying yourself the more. Right? So I really want us to just keep in mind where we can be developing at as we lie in that season of delay, right? Because we ain't denied. And now I want to get into and explore some very specific things. Hey, Yvette, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you always. So let's explore in some of those areas where it feels like we're being denied, right? And I'm going to actually share a few personal stories, guys, because I have been in places where I wanted to be somewhere else. And in working towards that, I felt like I could never get to where I've gotten to. But I'm going to tell y'all, I'm sitting here right now in a season of delay. No matter how much I show up for my roommates, no matter how big of a smile I have on my face, it's genuine because I have come a long way from where I used to be. But the visions that I have for my life is way beyond where I'm at today. So I'm appreciative of where I've come from, but I'm fighting for where I want to be. So let's talk a little bit about that professional delay, right? Now, and I want you guys to drop your hints of jewels and the things that you guys have gone through in your delay process. Now, I have worked in the field of social work for 24 years, 23 years. November 1st made 23 years because my first job ever was November 1st in the field of social work. And shout out to Black because he called me and told me, come on up here with your resume. And I got hired on the spot and I ain't never stopped from there. And I always give him that kudos from there because I was fresh out of undergrad, had my bachelor's degree, and just not knowing what I was going to do next in the field. So he introduced me. He was working for an organization. He brought me, he made sure I got an interview. I did it well in the interview. I landed the job. That was 23 years ago. That was pre my master's degree. That was pre all of the experience that I got. It has been a long 23 years. But I say that to say that in those 23 years, guys, I have grown leaps and bounds professionally. Where I'm at today, I couldn't see that 10 years ago. So I couldn't see it 23 years ago, right? So I want you guys to stay rooted in your today and just fight for your tomorrow, right? So When we are being delayed, it's certain things that is keeping us in that delay, right? On why we are not yet achieving this career that we want or this business that we want, though we're putting forth so much effort, and the passion is just, it just ignites inside of us. I burn up about fashion. I've been a social worker, guys. I am a social worker, and a social worker is me. Nobody could ever take that from me. But I still have aspirations to do so many other things in the realm of social work, and even in the realm of fashion. So I've got my feet wet and soaking wet in some of these areas, guys. But I still yearn for more, because I know that the will of my life is bigger than my today. So I'm just here to tell you, if I've ever inspired you in any capacity, I struggle with knowing, learning, and understanding what it is that is next for me, though I'm fighting every day for what is next for me. If we had a glimpse into the future, child, we'll either run away from it or run towards it. And there's a reason that we don't have that glimpse. That's why we have vision. That's why we have desires. That's why we have the wherewithal to seek after those things that we want. Okay? So, some of the reason we're in delay, because we're not quite yet equipped to handle the blessings that will eventually align with our reality. We do not have those things. We have not been granted the desires of our hearts yet, because we do not yet possess or are equipped with handling those blessings that will eventually, or those desired blessings that will eventually become our reality. Don't miss that on your way out. I need y'all to sit and stir in this with me. Okay? Have you ever thought about being mentally prepared for your professional journey? You know, I used to debate with my best friend all the time, and I used to be like, listen, I'm okay with where I'm at, but I know that I have to be at a certain level, meaning leadership, for me to make a certain type of money. Let's just keep it real, because we're going to even talk about that financial freedom, right? So it's as you grow professionally, it's certain things. Now, let me tell you guys something. I ain't doing nothing unethical. I'm not doing nothing immoral, and I'm not doing anything illegal to attain what it is that I want for my life. So as long as it doesn't involve those three things, immorality, illegal activities, or, you know, essentially just selling my soul, I will work hard to get what it is that I'm looking for or what I want to attain, right? So think about this, roommates. Part of the reason that you have not attained what you are seeking is because you may not yet be equipped to handle what comes along with that. Okay? And what does that look like? Are you mentally prepared? Are you mentally prepared to be a leader? Are you mentally prepared to lead a group of people, or to lead a huge initiative, or to lead a project that is going to directly affect not just yourself, but others? Because I'm going to tell you one thing about leadership. It's not about being responsible for you. It's about being responsible for everybody around you. And you have to have those things we just talked about, that list of things, that compassion, that grace, that understanding, that patience, because now you become responsible for growing and developing and cultivating skills in other people. That's what leadership comes with. It's no longer just about you, right? So I want you guys to kind of tune into some of this. What are the other things that you may need to develop, and where you need to hone in on in your professional development, right? We're still in this professional realm. Is that What does your communication skills look like? Do you need to develop in that area? Hey, Tanya, what does it look like to be both mentally and professionally prepared to take on anything that's put on your table? Think about being on your job and think about your supervisors and stuff like that. And I know supervisors, no matter what the title is, sometimes have a bad rap. But I'm gonna tell you like this. For my now supervisors and leaders, and for my aspiring supervisor and leaders, let me tell you something. The only way you are going to advance in that space and have the support of your team, it got to look like collaboration and not just delegation. We not just delegating and telling people, hey, you, go and do whatever. We are really standing in the gap with our people, getting down to the nitty gritty. Why do you think people loved Obama so much? Like, Obama was so charismatic, but Obama spoke the we language, right? It's about us, and don't get me wrong, most presidents do, but I'm talking about even if you guys have studied him or knew him prior to presidency, you would have seen him in other leadership capacities, and it was always the we model, right? So if you are trying to lead and go in that direction of not being in delay, not being stuck, but actually attaining where you want to be, then you're going to have to possess certain skills, okay? We have to remember that we are responsible for others and not just ourselves in this space. And so God may delay our promotion in life, and promotion is just not professional promotion. Trust me, we will get to some of that mental and emotional promotion as well, right? But we have to understand that those newfound sets of responsibility and strength that it takes to handle adversity. How many of you guys are familiar with the story of Job in the Bible? It's one of the most invigorating stories about being delayed but not being denied. It's one of the most inspiring stories, and I know many of you guys may, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm many of these guys. Hey, Black, I was just talking about you, on how you inspired me and how you've helped me advance in my first career-based job. I love you so much. Let me tell you, we hear, and I am we hear, ooh, you got the patience of Job all the time. You got the patience of Job. But I never knew what that meant until I picked up the Bible. And again, I know everybody ain't Bible told, everybody ain't Bible reading, everybody might not even believe in God. I ain't here to dispute that. But what I'm saying is the story of Job is the epitome of patience and not losing faith when you are going through, when you are being delayed. Now, briefly about the story of Job. Job had a wife, had cattle, he had riches, he had all of these things in his life. But the devil came along and he told God, hey, listen, because he still got to ask permission from G-O-D, and G-O-D is God. So, God, the devil went to God and said, listen, your faithful servant Job, if you let me get hold of him, he going to lose all his faith. He going to curse you. He going to curse your name. He going to do this. He going to do that. He's going to lose faith. And so God told him, listen, you could do whatever you want to do with Job, but you cannot kill him. And this is going to shout many of you guys, because every time I speak of this story, it gives me chills down my spine. Because it is so many things that are designed to build you up in your season of delay so that you are willing and ready to receive the blessings that your storefront does not have room to receive. So God said, go ahead. Do whatever you want to do to him. Just do not kill him. Well, guess what he did? Oh, dirty Satan him. He He killed his wives. He killed his children. He killed all his cattle. He made him completely sick. He put boils over his body. He did everything. His friends were doubting him, telling him, man, you must have done something. Ain't no way you going through all this hell and you ain't done nothing to curse God. Come on, you might as well curse God, blah, 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 blah. And Job withstood that season of delay, that season of hurt, that season of pain. And at the end of all that, because he did not fold, he did not curse God, he stood 10 toes down. He remained patient, which is why we hear the patience of Job over and over and over again. And some of us don't even know why that is even a thing or a saying. God blessed Job 10, 20-fold than what he had before. He gave him more wives than he had before. He gave him more children than he had before. He gave him more riches than he had before. He gave him everything. He repaid him times, just multiplied it so many times. So roommates, I give you that story of Job. I invite you and I challenge you to go read the book of Job. Simply because do not get dismayed. Do not get discouraged in your season of delay. You are delayed in this season because you are headed to your riches. You are headed to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You are headed in a direction that you feel like everything is stopping your track. But I promise you, dear friends, you are going to get there. All right? All right. So that was talking about the professional part of things. Let's talk about our love lives. Let's talk about our love lives because, you know, we hear the statement all the time like, woo, child, I love love. And that's me. I love love. There's nothing or nobody that can turn my mindset away from love because love really is the epitome of who we are and how we spread it and how we show it and all of those things, right? And so I really just want to remind you guys, listen, everybody don't want to be married. Some people don't even want to be in relationships. So this part of the segment may not be for you. But for those of us who have been in relationships and the relationships failed, or you want something or someone that you just can't have, you feel like you're stagnant in your love life and you really just want it so bad that it really saddens you when you can't have that aspect of you that you really are aspiring for. Let's talk about delay in our love lives. Because it ain't denial. God does not deny us of love. Okay? And love, we know love can be platonic, but I'm talking specifically the love life. You man, you woman who are aspiring to be in a monogamous relationship, who want to be in something fulfilling, something that is worthy of being in something and someone that prioritizes you and all of that. Let me tell you something. Your past relationships didn't work, my love, because they were not meant for you. I don't care if you share children with them. I don't care if you thought that was the love of your life. I don't care what the circumstances are. You're not with a person that is fulfilling you yet because that is not your person. And I know a lot of this may sound so cliche, but let's be very clear. It's not until it's your person that it is going to work. So why are we experiencing delay in love? And though we spread love and we want to be loved, and all we want to do is be in this, this fulfilling type of love life. Okay, I'm glad you asked. Tell me, guys, give me a few pointers. Why would it be that you are delayed in your love life? Why would you be delayed in that aspect of things? Could it be that you need to practice effective communication? Hey, sister. Could it be that you need to practice effective communication? Could it be that you need to show up as a healed person and not show up as the unhealed version of yourself? Could it be that we need to drop some of that baggage that we are carrying on our backs and on our necks, and the stress is showing up in our shoulders? Could it be that? Black is saying, could it simply be that you ain't ready? And the you ain't ready part is some of the things that I'm asking. Could it be that you're not ready because you lack patience? Because you are not an effective communicator? Because you have so much past hurt and drama that has been unattended to, that you would not be able to show up and be the most loving version of yourself in that relationship? Could it be that you have unhealed and unresolved issues? We hear people talk about all the time daddy issues and mommy issues. Hey, Sabrina. Right? Because I'm going to tell you, being a person, those of you who know me, you know me. I was raised by my grandmother. So I wasn't raised by my mother. I wasn't raised by my father. They were around, but at the best capacity, they knew how to be around. But let me tell you what that did to me growing up. It taught me rejection. And not that my parents didn't love me. I just didn't know how to feel loved, right? In the back of your mind, it's like, if my parents can't love me, well, then who will? And when I say love, I don't mean like, oh, I love you. I mean that you didn't love me enough to stick around, to care for me, to raise me. See, a lot of times we really want to mask things and we really want to bury things. But in all actuality, what we need to do is to address them head on. You know, one of the things I learned in Social Work 101 early on as a student, before I ever delved into my career, is that I learned about attachment. And we learn attachment really from the womb and in our environment. And right, so there's different types of attachment, right? And some of you have probably heard me say this before. There's secure attachment, there's insecure attachment, there's avoidant attachment, there's anxious attachment. I honestly, until recently, like the majority of my life I felt like I was a mix between avoidant and anxious. And I'll one day probably go through all of that with you guys, you know, to kind of break some of that down, because those are kind of like clinical terms. But everything in our being of who we are, it stems from our childhood. And when we have unresolved issues in our childhood, they follow us into adulthood. Until we resolve those issues, they follow us like a dark cloud. Right? Black is saying that sometimes you're unable to be secure in a loving relationship because you're selfish. But where does, Black, I'm going to challenge you, and I hope you're still here. Where does selfishness derive from? Why would one choose to be selfish as opposed to being selfless? They are all acts of being. Because we have a choice in any and everything that we do. So despite the pains and the hurt that I've felt in my life, amongst the people that I care about, amongst, you know, the rejection, amongst the delays and the denials, I've never turned selfish on people. Now, let me stand clear and not correct it. Now, I have learned to not overextend myself, because you must do what you need to do to protect oneself. Okay, let's be very clear. Being hurt because of previous vulnerabilities, right? Sometimes we can't show up and be what our loved ones need. And now I'm speaking platonic or intimate, because we are harboring resentment, roommates. And it's delaying us from the love that we dream about. It's delaying us from the epitome of relationship that we are so desperately seeking. And you questioning yourself, and you're questioning your self-worth. And I tell y'all all the time, we are enough. Now, do some of us have to do some work? Yeah, I'm some of us. Nobody is 100. Nobody is completely there. But there are basic things that you have to have for your relationships to survive. Effective communication, patience, grace, letting go, being able to forgive, understanding people from their perspective and not just overwhelming them with your perspective, right? Breaking generational curses. Baby, sister, you just entered the chat, but I promise you this is what we're talking about. So a lot of times we can't break generational curses, especially in our season of delay, because we have not done the work to get to the dream, to get to the desired outcome. So we're not denied, we're delayed, roommates. We got to do the work. And the last piece I'll say as it comes to the love life and loving yourself and others is that we have to learn to first love ourselves. If we are showing up as an unhealed version into relationships, we are going to continue to be shunned. We are going to continue to not be accepted. We are going to continue to have people to rotate in and out of our lives. Because you got to remember, the healed version of me cannot accept the unhealed version of a person that's unwilling to accept and change the unhealed version. I want to be very clear. Because there are things about me that used to be unhealed that I had to work through. And there are people who were patient with me and saw me through that and helped me become a better version of myself. And I couldn't become a better version of myself until I tapped into those unhealed versions of myself. So I'm not saying go and give up on people. And I'm saying don't make excuses. Accept those versions of yourself that you need to change and surround yourself with people that understand, listen, this person has been through something. Now don't abuse it. We're not abusing the fact that someone is accepting us as who we are at face value. But what we are accepting is that there needs to be some changed behavior. And I'm going to work towards that because this person means that much to me that I am going to flip the script on this unhealed version of myself. So roommates, you are delayed in your love life. You are delayed in that area of someone committing to you because you are not coming 100% as your authentic self that is willing to change even for yourself and not for others. Okay? My sister Dolores is saying that they are distractions to keep you away from what God has for you. You have to forgive and you got to continue to trust God and the curse will be broken. We are breaking curses. We are letting go of those layers and those things that keep us bound. And I know some of this stuff seems repetitive, but everything in life requires us to work towards it. Hey, Day Day. Everything in our lives requires us to work towards it. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for the people that I love. But we got to get to a place where we have to recognize and understand, listen, if I'm going to do some changing, you need to do some changing for the sake of our relationship and for the sake of this love that we're trying to save. Otherwise, that delay can turn into a denial. Because when you're not ready, what did I say a little while ago? When you are not ready, you are going to be denied. You're going to be denied access to love. You're going to be denied access to opportunity. You're going to be denied access to the healed version of yourself. We have to do the work, roommates. All right. Let's shift. Let's shift. We winding down. Okay. What about our delays? I love you too, baby. Oh, this outfit is, it comes from Phoenix Closet. It actually is for sale, guys. I have them on hand. It's so cute. Yep, I'm plugging myself and my daughter's closet. It's the cutest little thing. You can dress it up with heels or you can dress it down with gym shoes. I got on gym shoes today, but I wore the same outfit with heels. Either way, I'd be cute. This orange is popping. Thank you, Day Day. Sister says it's called self-sabotaging. You sabotaging the process. And sometimes it's self, but sometimes it's also sabotaging the process. Because if you are working towards something and you just are not making no headway, you probably need to give up on it, or you need to shift gears. Meaning you need to do something that's a little bit different. Okay? All right. Let's talk about delay in financial freedom. Now, let me tell y'all something. Financial freedom looks different for everybody. Because I'm going to tell you, years ago, when I first got into my career, my main goal was to pay my bills and not to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I've attained that, and thank God. But I want to be in the type of financial freedom where the Bible says, I am the lender and I am not the borrower. And God has given me a lot of that. I am above and I am not beneath. I am blessed in the city. I am blessed in the hills. When I talk about freedom and financial freedom and all of these things that I speak about, I'm going to always give you a little Bible. Because I'm going to tell you, it's what keeps me grounded. It's what keeps me humble. It's what helps me understand that I ain't none without him. Okay, you don't have to have that same perspective. I'm not telling you to. I'm just telling you. I've been blessed in the city. I've been blessed in the hills. Okay, so we got to let go of that keeping up with the Joneses mentality. We hear people say all the time, it's me versus me. And if that's really your mindset, you winning, sis. You winning, bro. If that's truly your mindset. Because the only person you should be one-upping is first the devil and then yourself. Don't be competitive with nobody else. Don't have a competitive spirit, because it's going to leave you in the realm of delay. One-up yourself. Get in a space that feels most comfortable for you, and then kick yourself in the behind and make it uncomfortable till you get in another place of comfortability, and then you kick it up another notch. Okay? Keeping up with the Joneses is going to keep us bound to just bound to just being messed up financial. So financial freedom, we are sharing more and we are showing less greed, right? We're giving things to people because the Bible tells us we should be sharing for and caring for. Hey, Marina, we should be giving to others, right? Be reminded, roommates, that they didn't use you. God did. Don't ever feel bad about helping anybody, because for you will reap a harvest that you sowed into this universe. I have been blessed in so many areas, and I'm not talking about money. Simply because I try my best to do right by people. You're going to reap the benefits of the harvest due to the soil that you are sowing into. Okay? We have to be generous. We got to be generous. You got to be generous. And the Bible also tells us we have to be a cheerful giver. Give it with a smile on your face. And don't give it if you ain't got it to not have it, to get it back in return. Because sometimes things happen. Sometimes people ask for something and something else happens. And you can't, ain't nothing you can do about it. Right? You will reach and fulfill your financial goals when you have gotten to that place where you are able to help those who are in need. without looking for anything in return. So you will stay delayed, may not be denied, but you will stay delayed if you are not in this space of being generous to others. And giving is not always money. Let's be very clear. Okay. And I am gonna right before I go to my closing segment, which is just a Bible verse, the last area that I'm gonna touch on is for my brothers and sisters, my ladies and gents, who are so desperately wanting to become parents. Now, everybody don't want to be a mama or a daddy. And I'm not talking to you if this doesn't apply to you. But you have I have friends and family members that I care about who are in a space of wanting to be and become parents. And they've just not been able to attain that. But I'll give a very personal story that is personal to me, in that Deuce's dad, we were 40 years old when we had Deuce. And this was his first kid. And I remember he just wanted a baby so bad. For whatever reason. I mean, some people just want kids. You want your legacy to live on. That's me. I never think I'll have 4 kids, but I'm happy that I do. Because you build your legacy. And your kids continue to have kids, and your name go on forever. And I remember us having a very, very emotional conversation about him not having children and him really wanting to have kids. And I just reminded him, like, well, baby, if we stick it out, we'll figure out if you can have babies or not. Because, I have kids, right? So, for those of you guys who want children and have not had them, lean not on your own understanding, yet acknowledge God in all thy ways, and he shall grant you the desires of thine own heart, and he will direct your paths. Do everything you need to do. Don't give up on it. Be reminded that we are living longer and longer. People are getting pregnant older and older. My cousin had her last baby when she was 49 years old. So be not dismayed, but yet acknowledge God in all thy ways. He shall direct our paths and grant us the desires of thine own heart. Roommates, I am super excited about you all, us all, being able to see the promises of our lives come to fruition. And though today we may feel like those things that we are seeking is just harbored up in a space of delay, it does not mean that you are being denied what is the purpose, the promise, and the will of your life. The more we equip ourselves with what it is that we want, the more we will properly manage what it is that we are eventually blessed to have. In our closing segment, I am taking us to Romans 8:28, and it teaches us, a delay is not denial, but a time of preparing you for the promise. It is very hard when we cannot see God in action, but that doesn't mean he isn't acting on our behalves. Roommates, these delays are not your bottom line. The delays are not equivalent to forever denial. I stand in the gap with you. I pray without ceasing with you that we all are granted the desires of thine own heart. We shall see, and God shall see, our promises come to life. We have come to the end of episode 5 of season 2. I love you all. I thank you all so much. Be encouraged. Understand that you are not your circumstances. You are what will be granted to you as you continue to have your visions and your dreams be granted to you as the promises from God. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Good night.